Hey y'all, it's Troll9002 here with another page-turning story for you. Don't worry, I'll be doing all the page turning so there won't be any paper cuts. I know it's been a long, weird journey so far with me and my channel, but I appreciate those who support it, like it, comment on it, and give feedback. Even if you just watch, I hope that I can take you away for a minute or two from the realness of everyday life. I write all my own material all through the week while I'm at work, and I type it out on my days off. Then read it for you so we can escape together. Hey, if this story makes you hungry, I know a good channel or two for recipes, but I'm only going to post one this week because, Dan, I used your name in this story. Dan the Mountain Man has some great cooking videos and some other good stuff on his channel, which I will include the link for in the description. So, whatever time it is you're watching this video, I hope it takes your stresses and anxieties away. It should help you sleep if nothing else. You'll have to let me know in the comments. Alright, here goes. It's called Baby Narwhals and Wishes. It was a rainy day much like it was today. I had been out running errands in the next town over and having fun with friends. On the way home, the clouds had started to clear some and allowed me to catch a glimpse of the sun reflecting and drying off all that the rain had just cleaned. As I look back in front of me, I see traffic still forging forward, and slowly, a farm tractor was putting on down the road. I was in no hurry, and I didn't care. I was munching on curly fries and chugging a milkshake, and my friend Daniel was in the car. We passed by a kid fishing in one of those ponds under the railroad tracks. I said out loud, I wonder, what is he looking to catch there? I mean, isn't that just a rain hole or something? And that's when Daniel chimed in and said, well, you've never heard of the story of the kid that caught the baby narwhal many years ago? What? No. Leaning back from the steering wheel, grabbing a swig from my shake, settling in my seat ready to listen as Dan began to tell the story. This story, it was a day like today, rainy and sunny at the same time. The train was thundering through your small town with a travel-weary passenger on it named Jeff. Jeff was an employee of the Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum. He was transferring a top-secret jar full of horns from various different animals like unicorns or rainbow rhinos and various other horns animals that are extinct or almost extinct. Jeff held that jar so tightly so it didn't get dropped or broken. The lady brought Jeff a drink, and without thinking, he reached for it just as the train hit a deer on the railroad tracks. Deer parts went flying, and so did the jar. It hit the floor, shattering, and horns flying everywhere. The horns rolled around all over the car, and the woman that brought Jeff his drink was startled by one and kicked it out the door, not even thinking about it. Into the water it fell, sinking down, but not to the bottom. It got caught on grass and weeds. And the train just kept going like nothing ever happened. Trains were well made then. Jeff thought he had all the horns collected, but as we know, one was missing. A woman on the train gave Jeff a jar to hold the horns for the rest of the trip. And so with that excitement over with, Jeff relaxed for the rest of the train ride. It was at least another day and a half before Jeff would arrive in Orlando, Florida. As it turns out, that is where Anne was also disembarking. After they arrived, they went their separate ways. Jeff headed to the museum to drop off the jar, and he was on vacation for a week after he did. Jeff turned over the jar to the museum manager, and as the museum manager quizzed him about the jar the horns were in, because it was suspect, not the original jar they were in, Jeff explained about the crash and the shatter and the horns and how he thought he had them all, and the manager showed Jeff he was one horn shy, and that meant that he had to be fired on the spot. Jeff understood, disappointed in himself and unfamiliar with the town of Orlando. Jeff, a non-drinker, took solace in the music coming from a local pub right next door to the museum. He figured he'd order a drink to drown his sorrows away. After all, it worked for his family back home. He figured he was on vacation anyway, and one drink wouldn't hurt anything, so he stumbled into the pub. The bartender, watching Jeff walk in, pegged him as a non-local, also a non-drinker. So the bartender devised a plan and decided that he would make something super strong so Jeff wouldn't know any better. And just before Jeff had bottomed up his drink, he caught sight of Anne, who came walking through the door. Embarrassed to have a drink in his hand, he tried to hide it. His fumbling is what drew the attention of Anne. To the horror going through Jeff's mind, he was looking for an excuse why he had a drink in his hand. Anne wasn't a drinker either, but she played the part well. Walked right over and chugged Jeff's drink like it was nothing, then stumbled to the bar and ordered a prune juice, took it over to Jeff and said, "Stick with what you know, sweetheart." 1 year later, they were married and moved to a northern town in Florida, where Jeff trained to be a forest ranger and Anne was a stay-at-home mama. "Wait just a minute," I exclaimed. "What happened to the horn? I mean, even in the title it says narwhal in it." "Calm down," Daniel said. "I'm not done. I just wanted some fries." I figured since this tractor had no sense to pull over and let people by, it's going to take forever to get back to the house anyway. Keeping my eyes on the road, looking for an opening to pass, but knowing full well I wasn't going to take it if it appeared, Daniel swigs a drink and continues. Soon after they were married, they had a child. He was a handful, but he always liked to be outside. One day, for his 12th birthday, Jeff got his son a fishing pole. Adam was exceedingly elated and excited and wanted to try it out right away, so he grabbed some ham and ran out the door. Found one of the water gatherings, like we passed, loaded up his hook just in time for his dad to watch him cast it into the water. "Now, son," Jeff said, "don't be upset if all you pull up from there is grass, maybe a sea monkey or brim." I interrupted again and said, "Sea monkey? Seriously?" Daniel jokingly told me to shut up and pay attention. Sure enough, I turned to see an opening to pass, but darn, I missed it. Just as Adam yanked up on the pole, he felt something snag on the line. It had some weight to it. His father said it was more than likely just trash. But Adam was determined to finish reeling in his catch. And he pulled and he reeled and he pulled and he reeled, as long as it took, and his dad started to walk away. Adam yanked the thing out of the water. This thing looked like a baby whale with a horn. "Dad!" he exclaimed. "Sorry." "Come look what I got." Jeff ran over, looked at it, and said, "Son, that's a narwhal." Jeff knew all about them from working at Ripley's, and the legend had it they were extinct. But if a fisherman caught one, his life was going to change for the better at least 3 times before it was over. "Since you caught him, son, I would think about how you want your life to change." Adam immediately protested that he had all he wanted, and so Jeff said, "Son, think of people that don't have all they need. See, and throw that thing back. It can't breathe." Adam threw it back in the water, and Jeff started explaining how the narwhal must have been created, because it looked like the area the horn was kicked off the train. That must have been the horn I lost. The horn had not been in the jar as long as the others, because it wasn't the same formaldehyde-y color the other horns were. So it must have still had nerve endings. I mean, I'm not sure where anyone can get a full jar of horns. So, when it fell in the water and minerals from the water and grass lay on it, plus lots of vitamin D from the sun, and throw in some lightning and pollution from the steam of the train, and bam! Narwhal. "Son, are you thinking about how life might change?" "Yeah, Dad," Adam said. "Good, son. Now let's get home before it gets dark and your mom starts to worry. You get everything you brought with you? 'Cause we don't leave trash." By the time they got home, just as the sun went down, Anne was sprawled out on the couch, and Jeff ran over. "Honey, what is it?" "Migraine. It took me by surprise." It was all I could do to get off the couch just then. Blood started coming out of her nose. Jeff said, "Nope, we are going to the hospital now. Adam, grab the keys and go start the car. I'm coming with your mother." They raced to the ER where Anne was taken in right away for what they suspected was a brain bleed. Stunned yet relieved, Jeff and Adam knelt to pray right there. And being a 12-year-old, all Adam could think of after praying was his dad's story, and he wondered if this was one of those times that life would get better. It was about a week later when they released Anne from the hospital in perfect health. Years later, after the incident, it was good. Life was good. It was graduation day for Adam. He was not only graduating with honors and all that, he had worked so hard, for he already had his college degree. His mom and dad were so proud of their son, eagerly awaited to hear what was coming up next. "I want to take some time off and give my brain a rest." "Oh, okay," Mom and Dad said. 2 weeks later, Adam met and married a woman. And they were married up until a year later, they were expecting a child. Wow, guys, I'm already 11 and a half minutes into this story. I got one more page to go. I'll finish it. While Adam was in the waiting room, he heard some doctors talking and had a thought for a new invention. As the little girl was brought into the world, Adam once again thought of the narwhal, smiling proudly. Adam ran and submitted by mail his plans away to the invention office, where they thought the invention was a great idea and wanted to run with it. The invention was hard to explain, but the people loved it. Daniel would not tell us what the contraption was, but Adam made himself, and he took care of his mom and dad very well. Adam and his wife watched their daughter grow up and graduate, and they sent her off to college where she became an archaeologist that specializes in extinct species fossils. And the last thought Adam had of the narwhal was that it would not be another lost forever species, but the whole world would know about the narwhal. It was then Adam took his daughter down to where he caught the narwhal to begin with. The hole had dried up. The birds had long since already picked anything edible out of the grass, and Adam had a feeling that there could be a fossilized horn of some kind up there. Sure enough, Hannah found it, and they took it to be analyzed, and like Adam knew it was determined to be a narwhal horn. Hannah was made famous by her discovery, and with her newfound discovery, she wanted to learn as much as she could, so she could teach the world about the horned water creature. Hannah made it her life's work, and though it took her a while, she did educate at least some of the world. And Adam and his wife were able to attend their daughter's wedding. It was soon after that they both died together of natural causes, or old age having such a good long life. They shared as much as they could. Hannah met her husband at one of the Ripley's Believe It or Not museums, where she was giving a seminar about the narwhal, and she started working for Ripley's museum, and always told folks the story about her father and catching the narwhal. Her mostly fact and a little bit of fiction stories, Hannah and her husband Dale did make it into the world records of longest married couple in the world. When asked how it was possible, Hannah would simply say, "It's the narwhal horn, and my love that was instilled with me by my folks." Finally, traffic picked up, and I got everyone home, and I got myself home, and started digging in the garden for fun. I can't say what I found, but one day it'll be identified. And this is where the story ended. I still haven't any idea what I dug up, but I promptly put it back because I wasn't sure. And though narwhals exist, This legend that Jeff has passed on to his family has never existed until I made it up. Narwhal tusks are actually made. They are actually their teeth. So, the horn is actually its tooth. Isn't that weird? Females usually get 2 teeth, but they always fall out. Males are the ones that only have 1. They lived to be about 50 years old, and they were first discovered in the British Isle in 1648, when one washed ashore. The origin of the term narwhal may be the Icelandic words nar, meaning corpse, in reference to its pale color, and halvrar, which means whale. The scientific name is derived from the Greek words for single-toothed and single-horned, respectively. And they are also called sea unicorns and are responsible for stories of land unicorns. Facts come from Google. If you like this story, check out some of my others. If not, it's okay. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. Good with that. Like and share if you dare. Please comment, keep it clean and respectable. I welcome feedback. I'm grateful you stopped by to visit. Have a sweet week. Troll 9002 signing out. Good night, and we'll see you on the next page turn. Here's the baby narwhal. Woo. See its little tail? Baby narwhal. So cute.